Wow. I want to thank everybody. Amazing. Such an honor to have you all at Mar-a-Lago. You know, we started Mar-a-Lago. I bought it in 1986, and I used it as a house for a little while. It was just too big. I'd have Don, who's right over here, my son, and would be looking all over for him. You couldn't find him. There were too many rooms. And I said, this is too big to have as a house. And we had a little dispute with Palm Beach for a few years, but we got it converted to a club. And we have a fantastic relationship with the community in Palm Beach. And we've raised more money in this building, just about at the top of the level for charity, than virtually any ballroom anywhere in the United States. So I'm very proud of that. Tremendous money. Hundreds of millions of dollars. So, and I have to tell you, Sid originally came here, and I don't know, is it like 5 years ago? How long is it? And by the way, Chairman, stand up, please. What a job. What a job he did. What a job. Nobody would have believed this 5 or 6 years ago. We started, what, 5 years ago? And we were sort of on the poverty level at that point, right? We weren't like this. Today, I'm taking pictures. I don't know. I just asked, how much money did they raise? My hand is falling off. I'm taking picture after picture after picture, hundreds and hundreds of pictures. I was just telling Pam, and they're getting $25,000 a picture, and I'm getting nothing, right? This wasn't like that 5 years ago, was it, huh? Boy, I actually said, how much money did they raise tonight? I congratulate you. I think it's phenomenal. It's great. And you deserve it. And Sid, you did, where is Sid? Stand up. You did a great job when you came here. You did a great job. And you know, originally this was, as you probably know, this was for a different date, right? And I said, I'll tell you what, I have other people, but they wanted Ben. Where is Ben? I love Ben. Where's Ben? Ben, stand up. What a great guy. What a great guy. You know, the press always says, did you make a deal with Ben? I said, no, we just talked. And he is so, I mean, the medical we understand, but so into the world of education and so good at it. And I want to tell you, whatever he wants, the real boss of the family, though, would you please stand up? Mrs. Carson, please stand up. You have to know, this woman is incredible. Her energy. Hey, Ben, she's got more energy than both of us, Ben, okay? But Ben was so great, and he can, you know, I said we didn't make a deal. He can do whatever he wants to do. He's going to pick something, or probably a few things, knowing Ben, and we're going to have him totally involved. And he's just a fantastic man, okay? A fantastic man with a great, great family. So, Ben, I want to thank you. I've never really been able to thank you this way because we haven't had this group of friends, right? We've always been surrounded by the media. And I don't consider the media particularly friendly, except to Pam. What can they say about Pam? She's like the superstar, right? But I wanted to thank you, okay? Thank you, Ben. So, we've had tremendous endorsements, and this has been amazing. I mean, I love Florida. This is my second home. I have thousands of employees down here between Doral and this and many of the different places that I have, and I'm partners with Related on numerous places along the ocean in Miami, and partners with Gil and Michael Dezer. You know the Dezer family. These guys are tremendous guys, and we've had great success in Florida. Thousands and thousands of people, and I just love Florida. I said, this would be very embarrassing if I lost Florida. This would be a very embarrassing moment. And not only did we win, but we win. Blaze was just saying we won by record numbers, so it was a fantastic thing. In fact, somebody said, you know, if this doesn't work out, could I run for the Senate from Florida, right? I said, no thanks, I've just had my fun, all right? But it was amazing, and I went around and we campaigned, and I knew something was up because every place we went was sold out instantaneously. We'd say, I'm going to Boca tomorrow, and 9,000 people would show up. I'm going to Tampa, I'm going to, oh, we have some Tampa, am I right about that? We had 21,000 people in Tampa, 21,000. And we set it up like 2 days before. Orlando was unbelievable. Orlando was incredible. And Palm Beach, we didn't have to do too much in Palm Beach, to be honest, if you want to know the truth. But every place we went, including Miami, and they were just saying that you have 67 counties and we won 66. That's a record. And Karen, I want you to stand up. This is my genius from Florida. Now, if I lost, she wouldn't be a genius. If I lost, I don't know if I'd be here if I lost. I probably wouldn't. But number one, I wouldn't have you, and I wouldn't be having her stand up. But, you know, I'm very results-oriented, right? She won. That's a record, Karen. 66 out of 67 counties. And that's something that's really, I don't know, they say it's never been done before. And we had a very big margin, so it was really an honor. We are doing very well. We've won 21 or 22 states already, and I get a kick out of Ted. And I can't do it. I'm not supposed to do it. This is unity. I'm not saying Lion Ted. I am not saying it, okay? I refuse to say it as he holds up the Bible, that he puts down the Bible. Lion Ted, I will not say that, okay? So officially, I have not said anything. But it's been amazing, and it's been amazing. But I hear Ted going around, I am the only one that can beat Donald Trump. I have proven it time and time again. Bible in the air. I have proven it time and time again. I beat him one after another. 6 times I beat him. And when he said it, it was actually 5 times. This was a few weeks ago. 6 times I beat him, and I'll beat him again. And do you remember during the debate, I said, yeah, but I beat you 21 times. And he just looked like it. Remember, he didn't say anything. And you know, that was one of the hottest clips in, what do they call the world of Twitter, right? But it was one of Facebook. It was one of the hottest clips, was his expression after say, yeah, but I beat you 21 times. And he didn't say anything. It was the weirdest thing. But anyway, look, he's a nice guy. And John is a nice guy. And really, it's so important that we come together as a party. And if we don't, it's too bad. And I'm going to get into that, but I do want to thank Chris Christie, because Chris was amazing. He came early, and he really started the whole thing with Marco, in all fairness. He had a debate with Marco, and he did very well in that debate. And Laura, I have to say, where's Laura? Where's Laura Ingraham? Oh, I love Laura. Where the hell are you, Laura? Where are you, Laura? Oh, there she is. Thank you so much. Such a professional. I appreciate it very much. Pam, just do me a favor and stand up, please. Okay? Just stand up, okay? Pam is a star. She called me up before the election. Before. You know, there's a big difference when you call before versus after. Do we agree? She called me up about 2 days before the election. She said, Donald, I want to endorse you. I've seen something that's incredible. It's a movement. You know, we have a movement going here, folks. It's like not just like, this is not just like a normal thing. I mean, and I think Marco's a really good guy, and I think he's got a great future. But I have to tell you, when you beat a popular senator from a state by 20 points, there's something happening. It's not just like a normal situation. And Pam was there early. Pam was there actually on a day where they were saying maybe Marco could win, right? They were saying that. I don't know, I'm getting these good polls, but people were saying, oh, I had one bad one. I was only up 6. There was one poll. I wonder who that pollster was. I wonder how he feels right now. Because we actually exceeded the polls. But there was one poll that came out, and of course, you know, that's a big tumble. And it said I'm up 6, 5 or 6. I said, whoa, this is getting close. I don't like this. Let's get this election. We won it Tuesday. We were looking, you know, in golf they say, Johnny, he's looking for the clubhouse, right? We were looking for that election to take place, and we ended up winning big. But Pam was there early, and she's our friend, and she's everybody's friend in this room. She is the most incredible person. She could run for any office. That's one I wouldn't want to run against, I want to tell you. She could run for any office in Florida, and she could have it. But she loves what she's doing. She's doing an incredible job, an outstanding job as Attorney General, and I just want to thank you, Pam. I just want to thank you. And I want to thank Rick Scott also. Rick gave us an endorsement that was great, and I really appreciate it. A little after Pam, a little bit late, but that's okay now. Rick was great. Rick gave us a great endorsement, and it was very important to me. So we have to unify as a party. We have a tremendous opportunity. There's been nothing like this. You know, the biggest story in politics worldwide today, worldwide, not here, worldwide, is what's going on with the tremendous numbers of people coming out to vote in the Republican primaries and caucuses, but the Republican primaries. And in the history of this country, they say there's never been like this. And this is the media talking. This is the reporters talking, of which we have over 200 here tonight, by the way. And I don't know where they are. I guess they have a couple of cameras and they're all sharing them, and they're all back in a corner because we don't want to allow them into this beautiful ballroom. Oh, there they are. Oh, there's some. Oh, there they are, too. Oh, so dishonest. They're so dishonest, folks. Oh. So dishonest, but that's okay. That's okay. But no, there's some that are actually fine. And I got a call, and I talk about this. I got a call from one of the most respected reporters, and beyond a reporter, actually, and just one of the most respected journalists. And he said, "How does it feel? How does what feel?" He said, "How does it feel? You've done something that's never been done in this country. It's never been done. What's happening here has never, ever been done." And I said, "You know, you may be right." I said, "But if I don't win, it doesn't mean anything." He said, "No, if you don't win, it doesn't matter that much because, frankly, it's still, they'll be talking about this for many years to come." I said, no. Maybe you'll be talking about it. I won't be talking about it. And I don't mean win like, I'm not talking about winning for the nomination. I'm talking about winning, okay? You know, for the big one. But the biggest story politically in the world is what's happening. And we have millions of people coming out. I mean, we have states that are 102%, 107%, 72%, up from last time. Millions of people extra. I've gotten 2.5 million votes, almost 2.5 million votes more than anybody else. The Wall Street Journal did a little mathematical error the other day. They said, Hillary Clinton has 8.5 million votes and Trump has 7.8 or something. But I have 17 people I was running against. You know, it's not exactly, she's running against Bernie, and I've got these 17 people got knocked down. A little unfair in terms of the arithmetic, huh? I'll bet if you really discounted, as we say in business, discounted it out, I'd be probably 10 million above her. But they don't like to say that. They actually, they found a reason why they felt they could say it, but they can't say it. Look, they do whatever they can do. Because again, the media is extremely dishonest. And we have to understand, and I'll tell you where I'm seeing it. I'll tell you what. A great place, I was in Arizona, and I did 2 rallies. One was in Phoenix, right in the Phoenix area, and the other one in Tucson. And it was amazing. It was amazing. One had 21,000, I think it was 25,000 people, the one in Phoenix. It was set up just a brief time before. It was unbelievable to see. It was in a park because there was no convention center. There was nothing that could hold that many people. And we set it up at a beautiful park, Fountain Hills, beautiful park, with this incredible fountain going up and down. I mean, it was really an amazing, beautiful sight. The weather was beautiful. The temperature was like 75 degrees. I got there, thousands of people in this massive park. And what they don't say is that the roads were blocked. People took their cars. I call them agitators. I don't even call them protesters. And I think they're professional in many cases. And they see what's happening with our campaign. Because we will beat Hillary so easily, folks. We're going to beat her so easily. And they took their cars and they blocked. There's one major road that comes in, Highway Road, and they blocked the road. People couldn't come. I mean, they were stuck for an hour, for a long period of time. And it was very interesting because Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who endorsed me, who's an amazing guy, and our Governor Jan endorsed me. She's incredible. And Jeff endorsed me. We have a lot of endorsements in Arizona. But Sheriff Joe said, no problem. He ordered his men. And they had people chained, and the chains were around their necks. And if you asked, they put the chains around their neck. And if you asked people, why are they there? I don't even think they could tell you. Because on television, they interviewed a couple of these people, and they didn't really know why they were there, okay? But they were there. They were loud, boisterous, and very profane. The language they used is horrible. So, phase 1, we have 21,000 people, more than that waiting. You have a road that's blocked. You have many, many people trying to get in. and we have cars on the highway, and you couldn't move an inch. People were standing outside of their car. Joe Arpaio goes in with chain cutters with his people. Said, you have 10 seconds to move. They don't want to move. They cut the chains. They took 3 people, put them in jail. Everyone else dispersed. They were gone. I said, where are the people? Where are the protesters? They were gone. They took 3, and you know, with this guy, he's tough. And by the way, he endorsed me. And there's nobody tougher, I would say, Pam, than Sheriff Joe on the border. We don't play games, right? Between the pink outfits and the bologna sandwiches, there's nobody tougher. There's nobody tougher. And they love him. They love him. But here's how it's done. He went in, nobody reported this story. And when the press talked about these people, they didn't talk. You showed cars, but you almost felt sorry for them, not the people that are waiting for hours and trying to get in. So it's so unfair. So what happens is he arrests 3 people. And I'm telling you, I made a speech that was like 45 minutes long. All of these people, thousands of people in front of me, not one person even raising their voice. They were gone because they saw the sheriff wasn't messing around. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't touch anybody. They cut the chains. They moved the cars quickly. Everybody drove in, and it was a beautiful day. But as soon as people saw that there were no games, they said, that's the end of that. Now we go to Tucson. And we had a similar problem, but a different mentality in terms of law enforcement. And we had people that were horrible in terms of the protesters or agitators. They were horrible. They were blocking the entrance to the big arena. We had 6,000 people. We had 2,000 people outside trying to get in. They couldn't get in because these protesters are blocking the entrance. They had signs with words that you're not allowed to use. You've told your children, your grandchildren, you can never ever say the kind of words they had, these big signs up. They had them, as they tried to sneak into the arena, they had them in there. Once we got into the arena, and it was terrible, once we got into the arena, you'd see all Trump, 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 and then you'd see the F-bomb, a sign with the F-bomb on it. And then you'd see Trump, 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 there'd be 20 Trumps, and then you'd see a horrible, horrible sign with words so bad. And then what happened is one guy and somebody else, 2 people together, one's wearing a Ku Klux Klan outfit. And they got him, they said, we got to walk you out. And they walked him and this other guy who was dragging an American flag along the floor. And they're going upstairs, and they're going through the entrances, and they don't show this. And by the way, in the morning, I saw the whole thing. By the time you saw it at 12 o'clock, it was not any longer there. And it's horrible. So they have this guy walking, and the one is dragging the flag and has no respect for the flag whatsoever, just so you understand. No respect for the flag, no respect for the country whatsoever. And his partner, whoever that may be, has a Ku Klux Klan hat on. And you had an African-American man got incensed, and he started hitting the people, at least the one that I saw. And they put him in, you know, they took him away. And we don't condone violence and all. But they don't say why. Now, we don't condone violence, but why aren't they showing the Klan outfit walking up the stairs? Why aren't they showing that? And you had this is a real supporter. This was an African-American man and a family that were there to listen to me speak. They couldn't hear me speak because of the commotion that was being made by a very few people. You know, you talk about First Amendment rights and freedom of speech. You couldn't hear. And now they're walking these 2 people out. The Klan outfit is still on the one person, and this man became incensed that somebody would wear a Ku Klux Klan outfit and did some swinging, okay? Again, I say it for everybody, especially for the media, we don't condone violence. Why didn't they show that? So in the morning, you saw that Klan, you saw that. By the time, Pam, the evening came, a little, you know, couple of hours where they could splice and cut, all it showed was this wonderful, I mean, because I hear he's a very, very fine guy. This wonderful African-American man swinging, 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 and nobody knows why he did it. And I think it's very, very unfair. Now, I can tell you, if I weren't a Republican and a conservative, other than, you know, Jeb Bush would say, he is not a conservative. But Jeb spent $150 million and I spent 20. And I'm like landslide here and he didn't do so well, you know. Who do you want running your country, folks? Who do you want running your country? But if that were done, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But I have to say, if this were Bernie's and if it was reversed, and if something happened, they would be talking about how horrible the protest is. If we went in and protested at Bernie's, or at Hillary's, by the way, because they had their people there. They're carrying signs, and they're machine-made signs, the same signs. They were given by the Bernie Sanders people. They were given by the Hillary people. They're made with the press. They're not homemade signs, other than the really filthy ones, which were, frankly, you know, horrible. But if that were Bernie's event, right, and if we went in, conservative Republicans went in with filthy language, filthy signs, if we stood up and started screaming the F-bomb, okay, they don't report that. They say, Donald Trump's events are violent. Let me tell you, nobody's been hurt at my events. You know, they make it sound so bad. Now, Chicago, we went in, we had 25,000 people coming. We were able to get a lot of them not to come, but we had 25,000 people, and many of them had already come. And if I didn't cancel that one, there could have been a problem. So I got a lot of credit from canceling, and not credit, not so much from the media, but I got a lot of credit from a lot of people that actually matter much more. Because by canceling, there were no problems. We had no problems. So it was a good thing, but I hate to cancel, but it was a good thing. But we have to understand, today I tweeted out, @RealDonaldTrump, I tweeted out, and I said, how come a group of people is allowed to use horrible language, hold up horrendous signs, scream at the top of their voice, close roadways, close an entrance to a facility that I rented, so it's my facility for the day. I mean, they're not supposed to even be in it, okay? How come we're the bad people all the time, okay? What about the people that are using horrible profanity, horrible words, and closing up highways? Why are they never the bad people? It's an incredible thing. And even the way they covered, they showed the cars blocking the road, but they covered these people like they're wonderful revolutionaries. Okay? So we're not treated fairly by the press, I have to tell you, and I think that's one of the reasons that I'm doing so well, because the people get it. The people are really smart. The people are really smart. And they get it. And I want to thank Sheriff Joe and Jan and Jeff and everybody out in Arizona, because it was amazing. And we also were in Utah, and we made a stop there, and it was very similar. We actually had a great interior. It was great. There was one person stood up and started screaming, and that was not a person from Utah, believe me. These are people that are placed there. These are people that are placed. So we're going to start following it much differently. We're going to talk much differently. I spoke with today George Stephanopoulos by phone. Do we love calling in? Is that better, right? If you can call in instead of having to go into the studio, isn't that better? Hey, George, how you doing? And it's like, you know, it's terrible, though, the violent. I said, they're violent, and they're not even violent. They stand up, they start screaming, and at some point, some of them have big voices. And when they have the big voice, one guy sounded like Pavarotti. He had a voice that was so incredible. I could make this guy a tremendous opera star. I'm telling you, if I were his manager. I said, you have a fantastic voice. Unfortunately, then he started swinging his fist at people, and they hit him. And you know what happened? We were the bad guys. It's unbelievable. So I just want to explain, there's very, very little violence. But it's very unfair to the people that support the people in this room. The people that support us and us, we're not getting fair treatment, because it's not our fault. Remember that, okay? Now, I want to just tell you, when I came out today, I see that President Obama landed beautiful 747. That's very old and spews a lot of stuff. Maybe you should try using another plane. Because he's worried about the carbon footprint, right? How about a guy who's worried about the carbon footprint? The carbon footprint, and then he gives a speech on the environment, Then he gets in the Boeing 747 with the oldest engines because the planes are very old and they are, not exactly efficient, and flies to Hawaii to play golf. Then he stays there for a hell of a long time. He plays more golf than people that play professionally on the PGA Tour. It's crazy. I never saw a guy play golf like that. I never saw a guy play golf. He plays a lot of golf, but he gets into a 747, flies to Hawaii, and then he flies back a couple of weeks later, maybe a long time, maybe a little longer than a couple of weeks. I'm saying, man! And playing golf is okay, but you should play with people that you want to make deals with, like the heads of countries, Congress, senators that you can't get, right? Congressmen that you can't get. You shouldn't play with your friends. What good does that do? You can do that after you're out of office. You'll play with them for the rest of your life. But play with people. Golf is great. Play with people that can help you get some legislation passed without having to sign executive orders for everything, right? So I found this to be amazing because I'm okay with the Cuba situation, but I want to tell you they should be making a good deal. For instance, I hear Cuba wants to sue us for hundreds of billions of dollars for all the harm we've caused them. That's okay. When you make your deal, you get rid of that, right? You say, okay, we'll do something, but you got to get that clause out, boom, right, Pam? Pam could draw up about a one-sentence thing that would solve that problem forever, right? That's part of the deal. They're not doing it. So I can just see it, mark my words, I'm really good at this stuff. What will happen is we'll make the deal. Within a year, we'll be sued for $4 trillion. And we'll have these guys settle for $1 trillion because they're great negotiators. All you have to do is put a little clause in there that under no circumstances in the future can you sue us for past reparations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's so easy, folks. It's so sad what's happening. It's so sad. Is that a correct statement? I guarantee you're going to be sued. Watch, watch, watch. I'm so good at this stuff. Watch. Okay? We will be sued for hundreds of billions of dollars because of the horrible treatment that we've given to Cuba and everything else. They're going to sue us for Guantanamo, which, by the way, they want back very badly. They want them back. I want to keep it open, and I'm going to put more in there of the bad ones. But I still don't see how it costs $400 million a year to operate it, We've got, I think, down to 60 or so prisoners. $400 million a year. I'm telling you, I can do it for slightly less. I think I can do it. Okay? Slightly less. So, let me just finish by saying something, because it's very important. You know pretty much where I am. We're going to build up our military. We're going to make it bigger, stronger, better. It's the cheapest thing we can do. We're going to knock out ISIS. We shouldn't have been in Iraq, but we are. He got us out the wrong way by announcing a date, not leaving some people behind, some troops behind, but all right. So all of that's in the past, but we got to knock out ISIS. They're chopping off heads. They're chopping off the heads of Christians. They're chopping off the heads of anybody that's in front of them. This is like medieval times, so we're going to get rid of ISIS, okay? We're going to knock them out, but we're going to knock them out. We're going to take care of our vets. We're going to take care of our great vets who are being treated horribly, okay? Treated horribly. We're going to get rid of Common Core. We're going to bring education local. It's going to be so much better, so much better. We're going to repeal and replace Obamacare, 100%. And Ben doesn't know it yet, but we're getting you involved, okay, Ben? We're going to get Ben Carson, Dr. Ben. We're going to get Dr. Ben in charge of that. Tremendous, tremendous problem. And Ben has some great ideas on that, by the way, so that's good. But we're going to get rid of Obamacare. We're going to have something that's so much better, so much less expensive. We're going to save our Second Amendment. I tell you, our Second Amendment is a disaster. Is a disaster. You look at what happened in California with the 14 people that were killed by the 2 people that he became radicalized, right? I mean radicalized, young couple radicalized. And they go and they kill people that just gave them a baby shower. They had a baby, the people that gave them. They worked with these people. So we're going to take care of it. Paris, by the way, in the world, just about the toughest gun laws in the world are in Paris and France, right? So they go in, just caught another one today, by the way, which is good. Probably be on trial for the next 30 years. Even in Paris, because in Paris they sort of have like something where it takes a long time too. But they caught him, that's a good thing. But when those bullets were flying, there was nobody on the other side of the room that had a gun. Because you can't have a gun. Only a bad guy, I mean, they were able to carry guns in, right? So they carried big guns in. If a couple of people had guns tied around their waist or down at their ankle, so bullets were flying in the opposite direction, you wouldn't have had that problem, folks. You wouldn't have had it anywhere near. 130 people were killed. 130 people were killed. 130 people, and many, many people right now are gravely, gravely wounded, living in the hospital, and frankly, many of them are going to die. And if you had a couple of folks, I can name a couple of them, like that man right there, put a gun on his shoulder. Nobody, you're going to be okay. Is that right? Stand up. The honoree. I gave him a gun. You're in Paris. We're in good shape. Is that right? Huh? Better believe it. No, but if we had a few people, I mean, if there were a few people where the bullets went in the opposite direction, number one, they probably don't show up there because they'll say, oh, they're guns. We're not going to show up. And number two, if they did, it's going to be a whole different story. So we have to protect our Second Amendment. We're going to build a wall. We're going to have borders. We're going to build a wall. It's going to be a real wall. And drugs, we're going to stop the drugs from coming in. You know, when I won New Hampshire, because that was my first great victory. I've never been a politician. I've been doing this for 8 months. It's sort of a strange feeling to say I'm a politician. I refuse to say it. But I won New Hampshire, and I won it in a landslide. I wasn't expected to win it. And that was sort of the beginning. But every time I'd meet a group of people in New Hampshire, I'd say, what's the biggest problem? They said, heroin. I said, heroin? I'm looking at New Hampshire, I'm saying, look at these beautiful fields, these beautiful trees, these gorgeous little roadways, the lakes. I said, it's not heroin. And they said, it's heroin. The biggest problem they have, New Hampshire. And it turns out it's the biggest problem many communities have. And I said to them, if I win, we're going to stop it. And it's coming from the southern border. And it's so cheap. It's like candy. It's like candy. It's cheaper than candy. They sell it so cheap. And if I win, I said to them, we're going to stop it. Then I went to South Carolina. We won there. We won in Nevada. We won most of the SEC. We just kept winning. But we have a tremendous drug problem. And we have a tremendous illegal immigration problem. So we're going to create a border. We're going to build a wall. Mexico is going to pay for the wall. Believe me, they're going to pay for the wall. And just so you know, a lot of people say you'll never get Mexico to pay for the wall. Just so you understand, the reason they're going to pay is this. There's a trade deficit with Mexico of $58 billion a year. The wall's going to cost $10 billion. Now, a lot of you people are fantastic businessmen. If you can, well, maybe you're not because you paid $25,000 to have a picture with me, so maybe you're not as... But anybody that can pay that much to have a picture is pretty fantastic, right? So when you have a $58 billion a year trade deficit, $58 billion a year, and you have a wall that's going to cost you $10 billion, it's very easy to figure that one out. Believe me. Now the politician, yeah, build a wall. You know, it's amazing. Whenever I get a little bit where I feel it's lagging, I say, and we will build the wall, and the place goes crazy. And then I go, and who's going to pay for the wall? And they scream, you know, 25,000 people in Mexico. Who's going to pay for that wall? 100%. 100%. So let me just finish with two things. President Obama flew the 747 over to Cuba today. And I don't know if you heard this. It just came out an hour ago. He's landed in Cuba. And Raul Castro, or Fidel Castro, but Raul Castro, who's the head of Cuba, wasn't there to greet him. No. There was nobody. He landed the plane. There was nobody there to greet him. Folks, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Now, here's how a thing like that is supposed to work. Number one, he has his people call up, say, who's going to be greeting the president? If they say nobody, you don't go until somebody's there because you don't want to look like a fool. Okay? So he lands, and the press, and by the way, they were so great to him. Well, you know, it's a little rainy out, and could have been traffic. It was everybody's fault but Obama. You know, there's some negotiations going on, and they perhaps feel that they didn't want to be there today. Can you imagine if I were in that position and I landed and nobody was there? They would say, Donald Trump must be incompetent to allow a thing like this to happen. So President Obama landed in Cuba, and the head of Cuba, who was there for the Pope, and he was there for other dignitaries that come in, but he wasn't there for the President of the United States. I mean, we are amateur hour, folks, amateur hour. And honestly, Obama should have turned the plane around and left. No, he should have. He should have turned it around. He should have said, bye-bye. I mean, he's not here. And I'm not knocking Castro. I mean, if they can get away with this stuff, it's great. They're making a great deal because, you know, they're making a deal. I said, it's fine to do it, but you got to make a better deal, like the clause I told you about. But honestly, number one, it should never happen. But if it did happen, it's go bye-bye. We'll see you in a couple of years or maybe a couple of decades. You don't do that. He got in his car, he drove, nobody to shake his hand. Isn't that incredible, Pamela? I mean, can you imagine? So that's it. Now, remember there was another thing like this. So it reminded me years ago, I guess earlier in his, quite a bit earlier in his presidency, he flew over to Europe to get the Olympics. Do you remember that? Now, the President of the United States had never done that, but he flew over to Europe to get the Olympics. And I said, oh, we got the Olympics, because there's no way he'd do it if he's not going to get it, right? The President doesn't do that. The Olympics is big stuff. But the President of the United States does not fly all the way to Geneva or wherever the hell they were meeting, land, and go and make a presentation. Yes, we're going to do this. We're going to have a nice stadium here. It's wonderful. The President! Then they tell me, sometimes Donald Trump doesn't act presidential. Give me a break, okay? So the President of the United States, I've never forgotten this, because, you know, I'm a guy that gets it. And I said, oh, we have the Olympics. So the President flies over, and we come in fourth. We didn't even come in second. We came in fourth. We didn't get it. And people sort of said, well, he tried. He didn't try. Here's the deal, folks. You call up the head guy. You say, listen, I'm coming, but you got to tell me I got it. And they'll say, Mr. President, you're not going to get it. Good, thank you. I don't mind. I don't care, but I'm not coming, but that's okay. But a professional would call up and say, give me a wink. Just a wink. That's all I need. I don't need a signed document. Give me a wink. And you know what? He didn't do that. So when he flew in, you remember, does everybody remember? It's the same thing as landing in Cuba, and the president, they're not there to greet him. So I've never forgotten that. I said, amateur hour. I said, I can't believe it, because I'm good at this stuff. Oh, you're going to love me so much as president. Oh, you're going to love me. You're going to love me. You're going to be so proud of your country. You're going to be so proud of your president. You're going to be so proud of yourself when you voted. You're going to be so proud. And Florida, I'll tell you, that was such a great signal that Florida turned out. Even these characters sitting behind, these pundits that used to say, Donald Trump will never run, he'll never run, and he's just having a good time. And that now they're saying, well, I think if they win here, now they're trying to figure it out, you know. And if they win there, there's a minor possibility that they can stop him, but we don't know. These are the guys who say, oh, he'll never run. Okay, so anyway. So when I saw that with the Olympics, I said, that's terrible. Well, this is the same thing. I think it's terrible. I think that we have a president of the United States to go. We're the head of another country who, by the way, we're not making a good deal. We're making a deal. A deal is fine. You got to make a good deal. But where the head of another country isn't there to greet him, I think it was, to me, I just left the room 2 minutes ago when I was up in the room and I saw it. I said, that's incredible. Okay? You'll see it when you go home. Please remember me every time you see him get off the plane in Cuba. Now, just one other thing. So I read a big article today in the New York Times, and they're plotting against me. They're all plotting. They said, we got to stop him. We got to stop him. Now, who's plotting? Lindsey Graham. You know, it's amazing. I never saw a guy on television so much as this guy. He's on television, and they forget. he ran for president. Remember the cell phone when he asked me for money? He was asking me for money. He gave me a cell phone number like 3, 4 years before. I just found it. It was like on top of a pile that was, I called it useless papers, right? And I held up his number. I said, try this number, and his phone exploded. Remember that? On live television. But look, he was at 6, and I then went at him, and he went from 6 down to 0. He then went into South Carolina, where I won in a landslide, and he was against me. And I won with a tremendous, whatever the number was, it was a tremendous landslide, and almost 40. And he had like almost nothing, and he's the sitting senator. That's much worse than Marco did, I have to tell you, much worse. People don't talk. Now he goes up and he endorses a few weeks ago, Bush. I said, why is he doing Bush? Bush is over. And now he goes and he endorses Cruz. But he said Cruz should be shot. That's what he said. It was a terrible thing. Could you imagine if I said Cruz should be shot on the floor of the Senate? I would probably face the electric chair for saying that. He said it, and it wasn't like such a big deal. Some people thought it was inappropriate, which it was. But he said, and now he's talking about Chris. So now he's saying he's going to back Chris. These are people that don't get it. And he said the other day, because I say what he's doing militarily is wrong. I'm really good at this stuff, you know? I really have the military, knows what. I like when Russia drops bomb on ISIS. You know, when Russia spends $500,000 a bomb and they're bombing ISIS, I'm okay with it, I have to be honest. He doesn't like it. How dare they take our rights away? I mean, we have a country where we have 19 trillion in debt. We're soon to be 21 with the terrible budget deal they just made. So we have 19 trillion in debt. And he's saying, well, we want to do it ourselves. And we want to attack Syria, according to Lindsey Graham. And you know why I say that because the press will take me and they'll say it was my statement. Do you understand that? If I didn't put, according to Lindsey Graham, the press will take me and they'll say it was I. So here's the story. So Lindsey Graham attacks me, he's gone. Jeb Bush attacked me, he's gone. Walker attacked me, he's gone. Every single person that attacked me, they're gone. Now I'm down to 2 leftovers. I have 2 leftovers. I have Lion Ted, and I have John. Okay, I have John. And I think we'll be in great shape. I mean, I think we'll, but here's the thing, look, in all seriousness. You have to beat your enemy, right? Don't you have to? Okay, Ivanka gonna have a baby like tonight. But she said, Dad, act presidential. I said, no, I will, but I have to win first. Does that make sense to people? I gotta win it, I gotta finish it out. I will be so presidential. I said, I will be the most presidential president this country has ever had, except for honest Abe Lincoln. I cannot beat him. He was so, boom. I refuse to wear the hat. So, today they're talking about stopping me, and a lot of people say they can't. And then they say, well, if we can't stop him, we're going to form a third party. That's how much the hatred is. And I could tell you each individual guy, I mean, like Bill Kristol's a total lightweight. I don't think this guy has an IQ that's more than 90. But it's the same group of people, always the same group. And in Florida, you saw it, they spent $38 million on me. Is that right, Blaise? $38 million on negative ads. And I told the story. I owned Doral. And Adam Scott is playing, and they kept having these horrible commercials about me, and it's a final Sunday. And I said, turn off all the televisions. I don't want to see it. Now we go to commercial. Adam Scott just hit, the great Adam Scott, great player. He's leading by 1. He just hit a great shot, the chip shot, which was unbelievable. And then they went to commercial, and they had 3 commercials about me, horrible, untrue commercials. Untrue commercials. Put in by the Club for Growth. The Club for Growth came to my office, asked me for $1 million. I said, who are they? I didn't know who they are. It was set up by a friend. They said, we'd like $1 million. I said, I don't know who you are. What do you do? We're the Club for Growth. I said, what the hell is that? They want $1 million. So I said, no, thank you. That's okay. They wrote me a letter. Could I please have $1 million? I said, no. I said it nicely. All of a sudden, the Club for Growth said, Donald Trump is not a conservative, and now they do ads all over the place. I probably should have given him the money, right? But here's the thing. I can't do that. Mentally, I can't do that. Here's the thing. all of these ads, a record in the history of politics. And my numbers went up. I don't know what the hell is going on in politics. My numbers went up. $38 million spent in a period of 10 days. The most vicious ads I've ever seen. And my numbers went up. So somebody's going to have to explain this business to me because I don't get it, okay? Now, here's the thing. They want to start a third party. If they start a third party, here's what's going to happen. Anybody, maybe they'll do it in 10 states, 20 states, you know, because it's easier, because it's very complicated to start a third party. But it makes it impossible for the Republicans to win. You're all wasting your time. I would actually say if they do that, take all of these millions of dollars that I made you, okay? You hear that? You hear that? But we take all those millions of dollars and, you know, give them to Pam, give them to everybody that's running for office. Don't give them to the president, because you'd be wasting your money. Look. And here's really the big problem with that. It's not that you'd lose the presidency. That's not good. That's bad. But you might have 5 Supreme Court justices to be picked over the next 4 years, because we already have 1, and you'll probably have 4 more. So you could change the balance of the court very quickly, very easily. And one of the things I'm going to do, and this is perhaps breaking, I am going to give a list of either 5 or 10 judges that I will pick, 100% pick, that I will put in for nomination, because some of the people that are against me say, we don't know if he's going to pick the right judge, supposing he picks a liberal judge, or supposing he picks a pro-choice judge, or supposing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get between 5 and 10 judges that everybody respects, likes, and totally admires, because replacing Scalia is not easy. That was a shocker. Don't forget, that wasn't supposed to happen. So I'm going to get a list of anywhere from 5 to 10 judges, and those are going to be the judges that I'm going to put in. It will be one of those judges, and I will guarantee it personally, like we do in the world of business, which we don't like to do too often. But I will guarantee that those are going to be the first judges that I put up for nomination if I win. And that should solve that problem, and I think that's a good idea, right? Because a lot of people are very worried that if I got in, I would put in the wrong judge. And I'm going to put in the right judges, okay? I'm going to put in great conservative judges, great intellects, the people that you want. So we're going to do that, and that would be probably the biggest breaking news, and I'm very serious about that. So listen. This has been an honor. It's great to be with everybody. Pam, you're fantastic. Ben, you're fantastic. I want to thank everybody. Laura, thank you very much. I know we're going to see you here next year at Mar-a-Lago. I know you're going to we'll never lose you, folks. I don't think we're ever going to lose you. But again, I want to thank you. We have to bring our party together. If we bring our party together, we will win. We will win by numbers that you've never seen before. We are setting records. People are coming into our party. People are voting like they've never voted before. We will win states that aren't even on the agenda. We'll win Michigan. We have a good chance of winning New York. We will win states that nobody else can win but me. And we will have a record vote like nobody has ever seen before. We will take from Democrats, we will take from independents, we will come up with numbers that nobody has ever seen. So I want to thank you all, and have a good night and enjoy your evening. Thank you very much.